I can say shout out to all the brothers and sisters out there in social media land. This is indeed a great day to be alive. We know because of all of this COVID-19 stuff, a lot of people still ain't going to church like they used to. So this is going to be just a few nuggets for everyday living that we're going to bring to some of the brothers and sisters that may just be at home piddling around. Or even for our Israelite brothers, we know that they had the bulk of their enjoyment on yesterday through their Sabbath studies, and also to our Islamic brothers as well. And one of the things that we continue to hammer away at is that your religious constructs, they do not add or exemplify no righteousness. Righteousness is practical. That's something that had to be put in practice in your everyday life. That means that you have to get up every day strategically with the mindset that I'm going to bring some goodness into somebody's life. Ain't no amount of reading nobody's books or being a part of nobody's organization can do these. These are things that every individual going to have to do on his own. And so we have always been dealing with the religious constructs from the standpoint of what it means to have a religious mind. And a religious mind will kill you. I mean, it will literally destroy you. You will die, and you won't be experienced many of the good things that God created in this world because of a religious mindset. And when we start talking about religion, we're talking about methodology, because that's what religion is. Religion is a methodology and a way of doing things. Traditions that have been handed down from one generation to the next that men start now living their lives by. And religion builds walls up around people to the point to where you don't have no balance. And so even on yesterday, as we talked about the house of the mourning and the house of the mirth, that is balance. That is life is built with things that balance. Because ain't nobody on this planet going to live their life every day laughing and joking and having fun. Nope, you got to have balance. You got to be intensified with grief, with mourning. You have to experience what it is to be saddened and depressed and cast down. And so when it comes to those things that we experience in life, you know, the books give you instruction on what you should do, what you should not do. But ultimately, in order for those things to work, they're going to have to be applied to the life. And so that is what we're dealing with. I'd like to say good morning to all of you brothers and sisters that have found the time to chime in to the video. There are going to be some nuggets dropped today. We're still dealing with wisdom as it relates to us living our life. And man, this weekend has been a blast. 5 people died that I knew this weekend. I made it to one funeral, and that was on yesterday. And you know, the funny thing about funeral services now in this hour, when we look at that scripture that says it is better to be in the house of the mourning than it is to be in the house of the feasting, that means that that's there for a particular reason. And so we drew the lines of distinction between the house of feasting or the house of festivities. That when we start looking at religion, they want to take the house of feasting and the house of festivities, which is called the house of mirth. They want to take that away from everybody. Well, you ain't got no business going out. Oh, you shouldn't be over there. Hey, you know what? You ain't got no business in no nightclub. What you doing with that glass of wine? You ain't supposed to be out there dancing with them people. See, they want to take the house of mirth away. But there is a time that everybody needs to experience enjoyment and laughter and fellowship with brothers and sisters that they may have been left behind, or sometime your life can just get into a place to where you just down. You can go through bad circumstances. You know what I mean? The house of mirth picks you up and makes you understand it's going to be all right, because you find yourself laughing and enjoying yourself, even in the midst of a crisis. And we go to the funerals now, and believe you me, this is not personal toward anybody, but over the last 5 or 6 years, the funeral services, they are not what they're supposed to be. They are not what the Father intended when he said it's better to be in the house of the mourning, because there the countenance is saddened, and the living shall lay those things to his heart because he is saddened. I don't know if one of the reasons that people don't have me to do funerals anymore is like, it's almost like, well, you know what? This dude about to tell us some stuff that we don't want to hear. Or you don't know. But I do know one thing that I can say with certainty. A vast majority of the funerals are now being labeled as a celebration of life, or homegoing service, or, you know, the big bang or the grand finale of the life that a person have lived. And so those that would attend these things seek to do the same thing that the religious constructs seek to do. They want to take the house of mirth away. But then you have another group of people that they want to take the mourning away, to the point to where there's no balance. When you go into a funeral, you are supposed to be saddened. You should hear the screams and the shrieks. You should hear those things. You should hear people crying, people weeping, people mourning. You should hear the cries of despair, the cries of agonizing pain of the loss of a loved one. You should hear the agonizing cries of lost opportunities. You should hear the agonizing cries of what it is to let somebody die and then you have not forgiven them. You should hear the agonizing screams of the fact that you will never get another opportunity. Because in a funeral service, because the countenance is changed and the heart is made saddened, it is made saddened for a reason, that those people that are living might come to understand how you live in your life amongst one another. And let the truth be told, we live our lives amongst one another as though we're going to get another day. So we harbor bitterness. We harbor anger toward each other. We harbor unforgiveness toward each other. We still backbite each other. And when a person dies, that countenance is made saddened, because when you looking at that cold, lifeless body in a box, you have to come face to face with the fact that I will never get another opportunity to tell my brother that I'm sorry. And sometimes it's in those things that cause the heart to be changed, that cause those cries of despair and those cries of missed opportunity. It causes all of those things to come out of you. And when those cries and those shrieks and those screams and those moans start coming out of people, you don't know why they are doing it. They could be moaning and crying because of grief, but they also could be moaning and crying because of rebellion. They could be moaning and crying because they know that it was something out of order that should have been fixed, that they won't have the opportunity to. These things bring you to your knees, but they also what God give us to change the heart. And I would in no type of ways want to take that from anybody. People supposed to come in there broken and beaten down. They supposed to. And we are learning in this hour that we didn't come here to weep. And we didn't come here to cry. Well, the Bible tells us to rejoice with them that rejoice and weep with them that weep. And it is a beautiful thing when you can have balance in your life, when you're dealing with the house of mirth and the house of the mourning. It is a beautiful thing when in one moment you can go and you can weep with them that are weeping because your heart feels the loss too of that loved one. That you can cry, that you can moan, that you can mourn the loss of your brother and sister with other family members. But it's as equally a beautiful thing when you can go into the house of mirth and be picked up and understand that life still goes on and I have to find a way to live it. And because of that mourning, now I'm still living. Let me go and try to do the same thing with my life that my brother or my sister done with their life. I have another opportunity of fresh, rejuvenated mindset when I come out of that mourning process. And then the balance comes. And you understand that there was a place for everything. So we want to be on our guards. And to my brothers and sisters is out there presiding over people's funerals and preaching and pastoring and everything. If you soften the word of the Most High and you put yourself in the place to where you start taking things away to make people feel good, that ain't going to work. That is not going to work, man. That is not going to work because it goes against the grain of everything that's contained in the scripture. What's up, big bro?
Man.
So, what you do, break your phone again?
Man. Man, I got through when I was talking to you, man, trying to fool with the bag, man. So I set the thing on the side of the truck.
The phone just broke up, huh?
Man, the phone, I forgot it was on the back of the truck.
Oh, you were cricket?
Yeah.
You ran over it.
I got insurance.
You can have this phone then.
I got insurance on this.
Oh, well, let's see how that work out for you. If it don't work, then you can have this phone because they just sent me a new one in the mail.
They did?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
So everything happened for a reason. It's time for you to get a new phone anyways. Sorry about that. That's my big brother just showed up.
Tell the family I said shalom.
Tell them yourself. They can see you.
Shalom, family. Shalom, brothers and sisters.
What you gonna tell the people that don't know what shalom means?
Peace be with you. Peace be upon you. Peace and blessings of the Most High be with you. Rejoice and be glad exceedingly in this day.
All right, but you came just in time. You want to pull up a chair and you can chime in on the video. Shouts out to you, cousin P Week. Make sure you let me know about that date when it come up so that I can be there. So I can be there to support you and your new fiance, your wife to be. Now look, I'm telling you, I'm your little cuz now. Or am I your big cuz? Well, either way it go. I'm going to tell you this anyway. You know, it's an indictment against you if you keep on catching things that you can't keep. And we getting too old. Your beard's getting white just like mine. And so you got that fiance, that means you've been given another opportunity to get it right. Only have a made up mind that this time I'm keeping what I catch. All the way to the bitter end. And if I ever think that I got a problem that I can't make it through, I'm going to reach for the phone and I'm going to call my big cuz and he going to help me get through it. But you got to start holding on to that thing. You understand what I'm saying? So you make sure you let me know when you got the dates and everything set up and you know I'm going to be right there. Shouts out to all of the brothers and sisters in social media land. So we're talking about how we're going to have balance in life. And we also want the brothers and sisters to understand that the Bible and the scriptures that we use, has nothing to do with religion. So if you was ever turned off by people that were handling the Bible, that claimed that the Bible belonged to them, it's time for us to turn you back on and show you, hey, don't nothing that belongs to God belongs to man except what he gives him. And God don't give nobody, no preacher, no pastor, no bishop, no Kohen, no apostle, no moray. He don't give no man anything that he has not made available for another man. If that man is willing to put the energy, invest the energy, and then incorporate those things by being practical in this life, he can have anything that anybody else got. So don't let nobody fool you. Even the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows as Jesus Christ through the stammering lips and the foreign tongue of the English language, he said it himself. So Don't let nobody fool you. He said in the last days, many gonna come in my name saying, I am Christ. I am Christ. They're gonna come saying, I'm the one that God called to do this. I'm the one that's carrying the word. This organization right here is what represents God. Many in the last days gonna come saying that. He said, but they're gonna deceive many people. And the reason why they're going to deceive many people is because the Most High in his righteousness decreed, you don't have to go and ask nobody who's going to ascend to the highest parts of heaven and bring back these things so that we can do them. Or who shall descend into the lowest parts of the earth and bring these things back that we may do them. He said, no, nobody's got to do that. The word is near you. It is in your heart already because God, he said, it is even in your mouth. It's in your heart because you know what's right from what's wrong. So you don't have to rely on no men to do anything. We as men, we walk together as brothers, not as one over another. That's the way that the Gentiles do things. That's the way the Gentiles have this world set up. They have it set up, the president, and then you have the Democrats and the Republicans, and then you have the House, and then you have the Senate, and then you have the governors, and then you have the mayors, and then you have the city councilmen, and then you have everybody else that's up under that, the local leaders, the pastors, and you know, the activists. You see, it's a stair-step hierarchical system, a chain of command that have been set up, whereby men have to constantly keep going through other men in order to achieve certain things in this world. But God said, it shall not be like that with you. He said, because you are all brothers and you walk together. Some of you may be older than each other, but you're still brothers. You know better. You see? So we help each other from that standpoint. Now, when we're dealing with these scripts, we're dealing with these scripts from the standpoint of real life. Real life. Not no church life. Not no. See, that stuff ain't changed the world. They can say what they want to say. They can say what they want to say. I don't care how many messages been preached out here. I was one that was preaching them right along with it. That ain't changed the world at all. That have not changed the world. Only thing that's going to change the world is that every individual comes to understand that he possesses the same rights that anybody else. I don't need you. I don't need to come to your establishment. I don't need to do anything. And when I do go, I do it because that's what I choose to do. And when we do things that we choose to do, then now we're doing them for the right reason. I ain't doing something just because you think that I ought to be over here with you. So let's keep the balance. Especially when it comes to the house of mirth and the house of the mourning. That is the ultimate balance in this life. Why? Because two things that every man got in common. He lives and he gonna die. And so the Most High brings balance to our life by incorporating these two things to keep us balanced while we live our life in this world. So we're going to deal with some simplistic things on this morning. But first thing I want to do is I want to drop a song out here to get the video up and running. Drop a song out here and get the video up and running. This song right here is going to be by Brother Bron 7E. And as soon as it loads up, I know when I come across the street, it seems like my reception gets a little bit slow. So, I ain't adding this to watch later. So what I'm going to do, just bear with me for a second. Just go step outside real quick. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Praise be to the Most High today. Well, he's making his run right quick. I just wanted to come on here and greet y'all. I had to go out there and get it up.
righteousness, but what? But not according to knowledge. But it's not according to knowledge, to what you know, to what you have studied, but according to word of mouth, to what you heard. And these people out here don't know what they talking about. They are liars. St. John 4:22. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Sound like to me, you need to listen to these Hebrews. It happens all the time. You know, you get them ones that be on that, oh, I know God. You can't tell me what I'm doing is wrong, this, that, and the other. God knows my heart. Hey, you're absolutely right. He does know your heart. And listen to what he got to say about your heart. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things. Above all things. That means worse than any other source. Our heart is the most deceitful of it all. And desperately wicked. And desperately wicked. Who can know it? Who can know the heart? The heart is jealous and murderous and covetous and selfish. Me, mine, myself, and I. Who can know it? But do it all the time. Oh, who, me? Oh, I would never do something like that. Then you turn around and guess what? You're doing it. And not only are you doing it, but you love it. Your life is full of these things. And they are abominable to a higher. We got to be led by the script. You need to stop running. Turn around and face it. Why should you do this? Verse 10. I thy power search the heart. I try the rein. Even to give every man according to his ways. And according to the fruit of his doing. The fruit is the outcome of a labor. The end results of a thing. According to what you did in the life that you lived. Who did you serve? The Most High or yourself? You're running. You're running from it. Yeah, you ain't gonna get far though. Your legs ain't long enough. Your back.
Okay. It don't look like we're gonna get to play it. But that's a good one. Y'all keep praying for me. Sooner or later, I'm gonna be as technologically advanced as some of our other brothers when it comes to the videos. Right now, hey, I guess it's what make the videos real. We dealing with real life. So we dropping phones over here. We losing reception. We got to play the music on another device that don't work. You know, we got to go outside and walk across the street. We got to do whatever we can to make it work. We back.
Looking for a love like his, you never find it. Your mama ain't got it. She nurtured you.
See? So it's all good. I'm playing it off my iPad, but I ain't getting a strong enough signal over here. I wish I would, though, because it's a nice song. It's a nice song, so I'm gonna leave that out. And we're just going to take off running. We're coming out of the books of wisdom. Is anybody out there can use some wisdom? I want you to put a 7 up there. That helps me to see who I'm talking to, because some people jump on, then they jump off. But then when I say that, put that 7 up there. I know exactly who's on the line. If y'all want to see, something. Yeah. This for anybody that think that when we start dealing with the scriptures, it's all about religion. Let me show you something funny that happened to me yesterday. We just go chop for a minute. Now, you know, we told you in the morning that we did the video. We was going to the funeral, right? And so I came home, I laid down to rest. I got a call from my big cousin. And so I said I end up going to hang out with him, right? We went around the corner to the local neighborhood juke joint. And while I was on the way to the bathroom, I spotted one of my brothers. He stopped me. He said, "Hey, Meech, what's happening?" I said, "What's going on, boy? You doing all right?" He said, "Hey, man, drop me some of the words of wisdom." And I kept on walking. I kept right on walking. And the reason why I kept walking is I said to myself, see, that's what we're talking about, being balanced. See, I ain't in here to drop no nuggets of wisdom. I came in here to have a nice time. I came here to have me some laughs and have me some enjoyment and drink me a glass of wine. When I come into the house of mirth, it's like, it's not that the word of God departs from me, but I ain't come there to preach the word of God. I came there to live my life and try to have me some fun, and that tickled me to death. But it let me know that it's more and more brothers right here at home with me that are starting to watch the video. And, man, that's no greater support. There's no greater feeling that comes from that. And so to all of my brothers that's in Kansas City, Missouri, that is a wonderful thing. So we're going to keep it real and we're going to keep it balanced. And we're going to let the word do what it's supposed to do. All praises to the brothers and sisters on there that put that 7 up there that you chasing after wisdom.
Hallelujah.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Instruct the wise man that he shall be wiser. You see, wisdom is the principal thing. And of all that thou can desire, nothing is to be compared to it. Everybody ain't going to seek after wisdom. Everybody ain't going to get it because everybody not going to be able to be willing to invest the energy and the time that it takes to acquire it. Wisdom is better than money. See? So we're going to take off running out of the books of wisdom. This is going to be the extension of the book in our King James Version Bible called Ecclesiastes. This is a second book, which is called Ecclesiasticus. It is found in the Apocryphal books that were once contained in the original King James Version Bible. For all of our brothers and sisters that in Christianity dealing with the church, don't ever let no pastor, no preacher tell you that something is not canonized. For it was written in the book of John, the 26th chapter. John said, well, you know what? I suppose that if everything that the Messiah did could be written down in books, he said, I suppose that the world couldn't contain the books. You see? So there are many things that are outside of the mediocre one resource that we come up with now. But this particular book, because the King James Version Bible was originally composed of 80 books, not 66. For anybody that wants to dispute that, take a look. This is your original King James Version Bible. This is your original King James Version Bible. This Bible right here was published back in the early 1800s. And so for anybody that would try to dispute that, because a lot of times when you start coming into new information and start exposing people and exposing these different religious constructs, and you start understanding, hey man, what that dude was talking about, I needed a covering. I didn't need no covering. No. You see, when you start getting exposed to information that can expose them, then you know what they do? They come up with something else. So let's go and show you what I mean before we start the video. Now, you know that Malachi is the last chapter in the Old Testament, the book of Malachi. And then in between the Old Testament and the New Testament, you had the Apocrypha. You had the Apocrypha books. And after the Apocrypha books, then you had the Gospel of Matthew. But let me show you something that's significant. Let's go hand in hand with the video that we're about to do. Look at this. You see this right here? You see those dates? These is how they kept record of the life and death of the people. That they would be written in the Bible when they were born. And then as each generation was born, their death wasn't recorded. But the Bible would be passed down to the next generation. And all of the births were recorded. So when we start talking about that life and death and the importance of living and things like that, then now we can understand that balance. So let's take off running. We're going to be coming out of the book of Ecclesiasticus. And this also known as the book of Sirach. And if this thing give me any problems, I'm just going to go out of my Bible. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, I need to go back to Google. Yeah. You know, I can find all these scriptures in my Bible. I just use the iPad sometimes because it's a little faster. But don't y'all get dependent on this stuff. I'm telling you. You better start hiding that word down in your heart. So that when they crash this internet and all of that stuff, you can still keep going. Now we're going to deal with some simplistic things. Because we have many brothers out there that want to learn, that want to say, I want to get my life in a better situation, but they, like I said, the Bible, it's been such a great injustice done with the Bible. to move and corral people into where men think they ought to be, that they just click, turned off. So what we want to show you the things in the scripture that's pertaining to the life that every individual is living. So that's how we want to do that. That's how we want to do that. KJV. Yep. And watch this and see if any of these things that you see can be classified as religion. So if you want to live religiously by something, live religiously by applying these particular instructions to your life, and you'll be all right. I can't believe you destroyed your phone like that.
Man.
That's taking too long.
Well, they opened up at 12, man. So that's what I was.
Let's get this down some. Let's get that Bible down some.
Easy quick.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, forget the Google. Google running too slow right now. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus.
You one of these chairs sitting on these chairs.
I'm good. Ecclesiasticus 3rd chapter. And we're going to read the 8th verse. We're going to read the 8th verse. Nope. That's not it. Hold on. Oh, I think it might be 6. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to skip past that. We're going to go to the 19th chapter. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay. Now, this is balanced when it comes to the house of mirth. Because the house of mirth, the place of entertainment and enjoyment, is not to become a lifestyle for you. It's not to be a lifestyle. You use it for what it's used for. When I go and have me a good time or something like that, I may not need to have a good time like that for the next year and a half. You know what I mean? It's not for you to become a lifestyle to you. And if it does, this is kind of on the note that it's going to be. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he shall contemn it to small things, shall fall by little and little. Now, he ain't going to be rich because he's given into drunkenness. And no matter how great he was, he will slowly start to deteriorate little bit by little bit by little bit, because you're making something a part of your lifestyle that was not meant to be a lifestyle. It was meant to be for a specific time and a specific purpose. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away. And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impotent. Now, that's a mouthful right there. This is why it ain't to be a lifestyle. Wine and women, they'll make a man of understanding to fall. Why? Because this is what happens. You know what I mean? Wine is a mocker and strong drink is raging. And those that do it are deceived in the way. So we go past what we're supposed to be and try to get more out of the thing than we're supposed to get. And we lose control because we allow ourselves to come up under the influence of these things by taking them too far.
But why women?
It said wine and women. Why wine and women?
Why women? Well,
they will cause a man of understanding to fall. You see? Because listen, man, you're looking in the book of the Testament of Reuben, it tells you that women are overcome by fornication more than men. Mm-hmm. So when you put wine and women in a room, oh man.
That's explosive.
Have you seen some of the sisters out there that have made this a lifestyle? When they get that alcohol in them, boy, look, shoot, boy. But they'll cause a man of understanding to fall.
Right.
While he looking at the booty twerk.
Right.
You see? So you know what? But what caused him to fall is when he allowed himself to enter into a place of drunkenness.
Right.
Because that's what his eyes gonna behold. Strange women. You know what I mean? So, and then it says that he that cleaveth to harlots shall become impotent. That means that eventually your willie ain't gonna work no more.
You're gonna be empty.
Because you cleave in the harlots. All you want to do is jump in and out of bed with somebody. You know what I mean? And when you do find a wholesome woman, oh man, I want me a woman I can take home to mama. For what? You all washed up. And this woman been holding on to herself, holding on to her purity for all of these years and this, that, the other. Now here you come. You come. You done been drugged through the mud out there. Cleaving the harlots. So these are some simplistic principles that had to be applied to our life. I can't speak for y'all, but you know, I done fall into this category to where you become one that's cleaving to harlots. And most of the cases because we be on that alcohol and on that oil. He said, he that is hasty to give credit is light-minded. Man, you don't be quick to give nobody credit about nothing. Oh, that's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy. Please, you just met this dude. You just met him tonight. Oh, that's my boy. That's my boy. Girl, did you see him? Oh, girl. Oh, you should have heard what he told me. He cool. He cool. He said, if you give credit too soon to people, you are light-minded. And he that sinneth shall offend against his own soul. That means that when you out here doing wrong, you're doing wrong to yourself. Because it's going to come back at you. Every time you do somebody wrong, you doing it to yourself. You wrong in your own soul. So, whosoever take pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned. But he that resists pleasures, crown his life. So there's the balancing act. There's the balancing act right there. You see? Whoever take pleasure in wickedness, if only thing you thinking about is something crooked and something crazy, well, then you're going to be condemned. But the next man, you have to come to a place to where you can start resisting. Because as we said, when we're dealing with wisdom, we're dealing with the twofold nature of one man. This is the mindset of one individual, struggling within himself.
The man in the mirror.
He's struggling with himself. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife. When a man can rule his tongue, he can live without strife. That means that he lives apart from a bunch of nonsense. And he ain't dealing with no bunch of arguments and anger and all of that. That's because he can rule his tongue. Now, you person right there, you ain't got no control whatsoever over your mouth. You're going to be in trouble. Because you're going to be the opposite. You see? He shall live without strife. Now, when you're a hot-tempered man and you can't control your mouth, every time somebody say something, you want to argue, cuss everybody out, you know your whole life will be full of strife. Your whole life will be full of chaos, because that's what strife is. Chaotic situations. And it all comes down to you being able to control what comes out of your mouth. Rehearse not unto another that which is told to thee, and thou shalt fare never the worse. This is a good one. Because when people tell you things, they confide in you for a reason. It said, do not rehearse unto another person something that somebody else told you. If somebody tell you something, you learn how to keep that to yourself. He said, because if you go back and tell people what somebody else told you about the other person, you're going to have some evil in your life. And let the truth be told again. There are many people whose lives have been turned upside down because they went out and they start telling other people what somebody else told them in confidence. Now you tell me, what does this have to do with being religious? What does this have to do with going to church? What does this have to do with Sabbath class? What does this have to do with the Islamic mosque or any other religious construct? It has absolutely nothing to do with any of them, because many of the people that are in these particular constructs or these particular organizations are guilty of these particular things right here. So if the people that are a part of these things are guilty of committing these things, why would you want to run up in there? Only thing you need to do is apply these things to your life. Shouts out to you. My big brother Marcus Nolan on the line. Now, whether it be a friend, whether it be to a friend or a foe, talk not of other men's lives. And if thou canst without offense, reveal them not. It don't make no difference whether it's a friend or an enemy. This is an area that mostly all of us struggle in. Because when we hear something about somebody going through, it's like human nature to talk about it. Man, did you hear what happened to such and such? Yeah, man, that's the same, man. But you know, such and such was doing this. And you know what? According to the instructions of wisdom, it tells us whether it's a friend or whether it's a foe. Do not talk about other men's lives. And if you can't without offense, that means that if you're speaking about somebody else's life, it shouldn't be in a way that brings offense to that individual. If you're speaking about somebody else's life because of what they're going through or what they're facing, it should be in ways that build them up. In ways that cause the people that you're talking to have compassion or to have mercy or to find out, okay, good. Instead of talking about them, what can we do to help them? You see? So this is something that all of us need to start looking at. Because what we're doing, we're trying to find out how to exemplify God's righteousness in this world that we live in without becoming superficial and artificial and program robots to things that men have been telling us. You living your life according to these instructions will make you a better person, and it'll make the people around you better people. And by that standpoint, you'll be changing the world by exemplifying God's righteousness that's coming by way of instruction, which is wisdom. So as best you can, whether it's a friend or an enemy, don't be talking about other people's lives unless it's in a way that builds people up. For he heard and observed thee, and when the time cometh, he will hate thee. Y'all see why? That's why you don't talk about other people's lives. Because some kind of way they will hear you. And when they hear, they will hate you for doing what you're doing. Now, let's see, where else we're going to go? Let's back up and go to the 6th chapter of Sirach. I know these simplistic things, these simple things is what's challenging, because they put the ball right in your lap. You got to deal with it. Here's going to be a good one. Now, because this is one of the areas that we struggle in. When you look at the murder rate in the black community, you'll know that this is an area that we struggle in. When you look at the condition of the black family, talking about a man and a woman, how a woman don't want to marry a man, how a man don't want to marry a woman, you know something is wrong. You see, when you look at the condition of our families, how most 85% of our families is dealing with single parent homes, you know that something is wrong. There is an absence of instruction there. And now we're going to fill in some missing key ingredients. These are things that you look at every day that you never pay attention to. But if you can apply these, your life will be better. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy. I said, instead of a friend, become not an enemy. That's chapter 6 of the book of Ecclesiasticus. What does this mean? Instead of putting your energy into building friendship, rather put your energy in not becoming an enemy of the friend that you got. See, if you look at friendship from the standpoint of what will cause two friends to fall out, you will make better choices on how you deal with certain things. So he said, instead of being a friend, focus on not becoming an enemy. So if you get a friend and you got a friend, you ain't got to exert so much energy into the friendship, but the energy should be exerted into maintaining the friendship by not becoming an enemy to that individual. He says, for if you become an enemy to somebody that was once your friend, you shall inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so, a sinner have a double tongue. The reason why you're going to inherit shame and ill name and reproach is because you're going to do what we just read in the 19th chapter. You got a friend and then you start rehearsing or telling that friend's business to other people. And that thing causes you to become an enemy to somebody. So if you can keep the things that people tell you to yourself, and you can only release them when you are trying to find a solution to help them, you'll be all right. You'll maintain that friendship. He said, but if you don't, you're going to become an enemy. That friend going to become an enemy, and then you're going to inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Why? Because now you're going to be labeled as a backbiter or a backstabber or somebody that's two-faced it. I don't know if who I'm talking to out there, but, you know, this is what we deal with on a daily basis. You know, you might not understood that the instructions was written down in the pages of the book, but this is wisdom that's going forth. It says, extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thou saw gave him the house, the job to pay for it. Last thing I checked, I gave him the car. Last thing I checked, I gave this joker everything that he got. And you running around here like he's the man, he's the greatest, the great. He said, listen, don't do that. Because if you do, then God going to tear you into pieces and break you. And eventually what you'll do, he'll tear you into pieces like a bull. And then you'll... Okay. See, I don't mind though. I don't mind having to walk outside and get some reception. I expect it to happen like this because one of the things that the powers that be in this world, they don't ever want our brothers and sisters to come to the place to where they understand how important it is to start exemplifying love toward each other. Now, the next one says, let's see. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Sweet language multiplies friends. And so, all of these things are dealing with the way that we communicate with each other. How do you communicate with your brothers and sisters? Well, you're using sweet language, fair speaking. Fair speaking will increase kind greetings. That means that people will respond to you with kind greetings when they see you because of your sweet language that you're using on people. So it's like a boomerang. When you can control your mouth and then you can speak sweet language to people and it's build people up. He said, then you know what? That fair speaking, it's going to increase kind greetings towards you. That means that when people come in contact with you, they'll have kind greetings towards you. They'll have kind things to say, but it's going to be predicated on what you do. So we have to be conscious of how we speaking to each other. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, man, it's crazy, man. The only thing you can use is your background. But I tell you, I once heard one of them old preachers say a long time ago, I can't call which one it was, but he said, you know what? Those that think they know God always persecute them that really do know him. You see? Because the people that think that they know God, that claim that they know God, that talk that they know God, that talk about God, these are the people that don't have sweet language And these are the people that are unable to speak in a way that increases kind greetings. Not all of them, not everybody, because you got people on all different levels. But namely, I just use a lot of times the people that are used in this book that don't seem to be living up to the standard of it. Because I'm telling you the honest to God truth. If you want to see some backbiting, you go over there. You go over there. Go over there where you pay your tithes at. You want to hear some choice words? Go over there. You want to hear some choice words? Go over there. Where they get ready to have Passover at. Go over there to them places to where they handling this book and see. See, and that's why I be like that. Because the people that's handling the book are the ones that got the problem. Because you handling the book, but if you ain't going to do what the book say, then what you're going to do is you're going to turn other people off from the book by making them think that everybody that's reading the book is supposed to be like that. So that's no good. It says, be at peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor out of 1,000. You can be at peace with many people. But baby, let me tell you something. This scripture right here says you can only find one solid person in your life that you can share your problems with. Say, oh yeah, you can be at peace with anybody, but don't you start blabbing off your business to everybody because you're going to be in trouble. Be at peace with many, yet have one counselor out of 1,000. Now this can really go to another level. Because though you're going to see that a faithful friend is the medicine of life, God gives us a friend that we can walk with on earth because he is not here. And sometimes if we can just have somebody in this physical world that can understand what I'm going through, we're better off. But ultimately, the one counselor out of 1,000, the Messiah is the wonderful counselor. That's the wonderful counselor. Because sometimes your life can get into situations to where the one counselor you got ain't got the answer. You see? But here is dealing with living our lives with each other. We can be at peace with many people. And we can have good rapport and good relationship with many people. But he said when it comes to counseling, who going to counsel you? Who you going to get to give you some advice about your marriage? About your children, about the decision that you should make with the doctor's report or whatnot. He said, only have one counselor out of 1,000.
Spiritual.
You see, that one counselor out of 1,000 is going to be the person that genuinely loves you, that wants the best for you, and wants, you know what? And you got to find that one counselor. You got to know who that counselor is. So these are simplistic principles of wisdom that should we start applying them to our life, it'll make us better people and it'll make the people around us better people. So you can be at peace with many people, but don't be out here sharing your business with everybody. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing what I do, then you can go and toss a trash can of your business out there and tell them what y'all gonna do about it. So, you know, but so it's like, you know what? I'm like a walking dead man. It don't matter to me, you know what I mean? What y'all do with it, it's what God give me for this particular thing. But with this particular instruction, even I have to adhere to that because there are intimate things that are not to be shared with Facebook, YouTube, church members. There's things in my life that are not to be shared with anybody but one person. You see? And so it's the same way with all of us. It says, if you would get a friend, prove them first. This is one of the reasons why we got so much murder, why the murder rate's so high. Because we don't prove the people that we call friends. You don't just be quick to call nobody your friend, and then start running with them, and the next thing you know, y'all done fell out. Now somebody's dead, somebody's in jail. That's because you're too quick to make somebody your friend. He said, if you're going to get a friend, you prove them first. You prove them first. And that means proving you have to go through a series of tests to be my friend. You have to walk with me for some time. I ain't talking about no couple of you have to walk with me for some years. I got to come to know almost everything about your character and everything before I classify you as my friend. And it's the same thing because this is what the scripture do. Before, if we would get a friend, prove them first. See, we prove them first. And we be not hasty to credit them with friendship. You prove them first. You don't be quick to credit nobody with the title of friendship because that's important. They have to be proven. They have to be found worthy of being a friend. And too many times we make friends and we quit. Even with our sisters. Our sisters got it easy. They got it bad. You know what I mean? 1 minute y'all running buddies. Y'all thick as thieves. And next time somebody asks, hey, where's such and such? Where's Cynthia at? Oh, shit, you know, we ain't cool like that no more. We don't hang out no more. You know what I mean? You don't know what happened. You just know that, well, yesterday y'all was talking about, hey, that's my sister. That's my sister. Yesterday y'all was family. And today y'all don't even associate with each other. That's because you proved that friendship too quick. And if you'd have watched them long enough or did sometime what I use the street terminology where I used to tell them, hey, man, you better go check my files. If you go and check their files and see what's in the report, you might start having some second thoughts about making them a friend quickly. So it says if you get a friend, you prove them first. And don't be in no rush to credit them with friendship. Here's the reason why. Verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and he will not abide in the day of trouble. That's why you don't be quick to approve nobody as a friend. If they're going to be a friend, they got to see the whole totality of your life. They got to see the goodness of it, and they got to see the badness of it. And if they still cool like that and still want to be your friend, then guess what? You done passed the test. But there is some friend, you got to prove them first. Because there is a friend that's only around for what he can get out of you. Do you have any idea, since I've been walking in ministry, dealing with this word and with this book, or walking through life in the street, do you have any idea how many people that have came around me that have said that they was friends that didn't meet the test and prove not to be friends at all? There are some friends that they're only around for what they can get out of you. Well, especially when you do work like this. Because a lot of people have the mindset like ministry work and handling the word of God and handling wisdom, that's like the pinnacle. Man, if I could do that, man, if I had what he had, oh, that'd be great. Oh, let me get close enough to him and become his friend, and maybe I can get some of that what he got. See, he only around for his own occasion. And when it don't work out in his favor, when he see that you can't get what I got because God gave it to me, and unless you go to God, you can't get the same thing. When they see that they can't get what you got, they gone. That's why they have to be proven. That's why they have to be proven. And there have been many brothers over the years that came and went. Well, it wasn't no sweat off my back. You know why? Because I knew something that they didn't know. I knew something that they didn't know. And every time a so-called friend drives up into my life, I know something that they don't know. I'm armed with something that you don't know, and you just don't know. I got a whole track field full of hurdles for you to climb over when you're going to be my friend. You're going to have to jump 20 hurdles. And if you knock 2 or 3 of them down, you disqualify. You're going to have to be hit because those hurdles are dealing with the things in my life that are dear to me. You see? So, if you're willing to jump over those hurdles, please. I got my young king, King Rashard, on the line. Shoot. King Rashard on the line, he'll go and recite the Psalms in the book of David. Thou makest my feet as hind feet, that I may run through troops and leap over walls. He said, that's how I done came across many elder on the other side of the wall, but I'm about to climb over that joker. And you jump and leap over that wall, then you're a friend forever. You're a friend forever. But you got to have some hinds feet, baby. So you prove them. You prove people. Sisters, you want a friend that got biceps and triceps? One of the number one reasons why you've been drugged through the mud so many different times is because you was too quick to prove the man as a friend. You didn't understand that he was only coming for his own occasion, only coming for what he could get. And when he got through driving your car till the engine went out and got through putting his footprints on your coffee table and laying on your furniture till it didn't sit right no more, and after he got through using everything that he could, he took off. And he's sitting over there mad. But see, now you're armed with something that you didn't know, that he got to be proven first. And even if you're lonely, you put 10,000 hurdles out there and you say you want this, you better jump over every last one of them. And if you knock one of them down, you're disqualified. Prove them first. See if they can live up to what they saying with their mouth. This is wisdom. And we paint the pictures of life. We paint the pictures of life. You know how many brothers is dead? How many funeral services that we got to stand over? The casket of the lifeless body of a young man or a young woman that died at the hands of somebody that came saying that they was a friend. You're looking at it. It's because they didn't prove them. You didn't let them stay around long enough. You pulled the panties off too quick. How you going to get what you're supposed to have like that? You see? It was too quick to jump in the car and go and start eating. You should have been proving them. You prove them first. And when you watch people long enough, you eventually start to see what they made out of, because you can't hide that. A person that's in a righteous place, he gonna be the same. I wouldn't care how many hurdles you gave him to jump over. I wish I could have my sweetie over here right now so she can tell you about the hurdles that I had to jump over in order to make her feel comfortable with marrying me. Please. I felt like one of them little poodles at one of them little dog shows. The way she had me just trotting around and rolling over and rolling over. I'm jumping through hoops with flames of fire and everything. Shoot, it had to be proven. But at the same time, I wasn't no upstart. I said I wish I had her over here to tell you that part. I also wish I had her over here to tell you the part, too, about how I took everything and hit the door while she was gone to work one day and came home, and there was no traces that I ever been there, because I had hurdles of my own set up, too. Either you're going to be a wife or you ain't going to be nothing. And if I'm jumping through hoops over here, these hoops over here is to bring you to a place to where you're ready to jump through this ultimate hoop. And so it's either all or nothing, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, the reason why I was like this is because when you armed with wisdom, your wisdom makes your life better, and it also makes the life of the people that you're dealing with better too. You see, if thou would get a friend, prove them first. And I jumped through so many hoops, boy, to show my sweetie that I was going to be her friend forever. And I'm telling you, as soon as I think that I done leaped through the grand hoop, here's another one. Well, I just think that a man should do this. Okay, baby, okay, let me go find a way to make her happen. Here go another hoop you got to go jump through. But the reason why it's like that is because you're dealing with your life, and you don't want people coming into your life being a destructive force in there. So they have to be proven first. You see? And I wasn't hooking myself up with no woman that was about to walk off and leave. So I'm making it plain and clear up front. It's now or never, baby. Your grace period is over. The hoop jumping through is over. I've shown myself to be who I'm supposed to be. And now it's over. And since I've been backed into a corner, and if you ain't taking me serious, you'll take this next move serious. Watch this. Watch all the clothes disappear out the closet. Watch all the shoes disappear from the shoe rack. Watch the toothbrush, even the toothpaste. Watch the overnight bag. Watch everything that had a trace of Dimitri Milligan on it. Gone when you get home from work. And it didn't mean that I didn't still want it for my wife. It just means that she was being tested. She had to be proved. Because I refused to go and get another woman sitting in church that had a made up mind she wasn't going to do anything that was written in the scripture. So rather than to try to prove points using the Bible, I proved them with real life. I know. And as a result of that, me and Sweetie been together for 20 years now. And ain't no sign of it being over. You see? So if you would get a friend, you got to prove them first. Because there are some friends, as it says in verse 8, for some man is a friend for his own occasion. And that means when you quick to give people your friendship and they, for their own occasion, they want to zap and absorb and rob and rape everything that they can get from you, and then they gone. It says for some man is a friend for his own occasion, and he will not abide in the day of trouble. Shout out to you, big brother Steve. Yep, he will not abide in your day of trouble. Oh, he cool when you got it like that. But boy, fall on some hard. That joker gone. And you mad because you thought, man, he won't even come, man. I'm just trying to get him in. You know he's supposed to give me a ride. He gone. He ain't thinking about you. And now you mad at him because you didn't prove him. It's your fault. He was no good no way from the jump. He said, because he ain't going to abide with you in the day of trouble.
What time is it, man?
What time you got to be there?
I could go up here, man, and try to get me another phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see, verse 9. Well, let me know what they say. Let me know what they say. Because I know how that insurance works. That insurance, but you're gonna bought lesson better than taught lesson. You get to see for yourself.
Oh, man,
You'll learn next time not to waste that money because that's what you did. Go on up there and see what you got.
Yeah, because that's what.
Go see what you got. But I got a phone for you. You see what they're gonna do. All right. So okay. So verse 9 says, and there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife would discover your reproach. This is another reason why you have to prove friends. Because there are some friends that come into your life and start walking with you, and they get close enough to know your innermost intimate moments. They get close enough to you to know your lifestyle, your habits. They get close enough to you. And then, you know what? He said eventually those friends are turned to enmity. When you start talking about enmity, you're talking about friction. You're talking about war. You're talking about being an enemy, being an adversary. There's a friend that will turn into an adversary. And what will happen is if you let people get too close to you, to where they start knowing, they know about the things that go on in your house. They know about you and your spouse. They know about you and your children. They know about you and how you conducting your life in certain areas. They know whether or not you the type of person that got an extramarital affair or somebody on the side. They know all of these things about you. They know whether you got a sack. They know whether you doing something illegal. He said, when that friend is turned into an adversary, the friend being turned to enmity and strife would discover your reproach. That means that they'll find out the things, that they'll find out your character defects, and they'll find out the shameful things about you. See, so you got some friends that are like that. They'll find out those shameful things about you, and then they'll become your adversary, and they'll start bringing you to shame by exposing those things. Oh, shoot, you know, their marriage ain't all what it's supposed to be. Please, girl, you don't know, but she walk around the house like she don't respect him. You don't, oh, man, you should see him. Man, you should see him. He look cool out here with everybody else, but he like a roaring lion at his home. He don't treat his wife good, you know, man. See, they'll discover your insufficiencies. It don't mean that you bad people. It means that everybody have character defects. And some things, you know, the old folks used to say, what goes on in the house is supposed to stay in the house. But there's a friend that wants to come into the house for a specific reason, and that is to discover your shameful ways so that they can go out there and then blab those things, because they're going to be turned into an adversary. So all these things is dealing with proving, is dealing with those people that we call friends. And, you know, we can't call everybody no friend, you see? And so what if you don't classify everybody as a friend? But you don't want to do that. So we looking at these simplistic principles of wisdom that help us have a better life. And as we said, they will also help those that we live in our life with to have a better life too, by what we won't allow them to do. Keeps our life in a peaceful place, you know. Verse 10 says, and again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of your affliction. Now, I had a phone call the other day. Well, it wasn't a phone call, but one of the brothers sent the message, and just an incident. We don't call no names or anything like that, but said, you know, I got somebody that they want to have a one-on-one counseling conversation with you. You know what I mean? And brother, a young king, he said, I went as far as I could go, but I didn't want to tell them the wrong thing. So I wanted to direct their attention to you. So I stopped and I said, well, what did you tell them? And when he told me what he told them, I said, that is sufficient. You told them the truth of the matter. You told them what was right and what they need to hear. So they don't need to hear anything from me. There's nothing else that I can tell them. You did just what you were supposed to do right there. And so, but listening to the situation or the circumstances is sort of built around these lines. Is that, you know what, okay, things are going great or things may go well with some friends. And then when you enter into a time of affliction to where you are cast down, like you have many people, many brothers and sisters that been married may want to walk away from their spouse because their spouse have fallen victim to a terminal illness. And as it progresses, they're going to have to assume the brunt of the full responsibility of doing it. See, some friends will abide with you at the table. We're talking about friends. We're not just talking about friends that we meet as it relates to brothers and sisters. We're talking about friends as it relates to husbands and wives as well. There be some wives or husbands that will abide with their spouse at the table of life when everything is good. And in the time of affliction, the first thing that pops into the mind is the nursing home or you know what, a divorce or something of that nature. That's why all friends have to be proven, because these friends exist, and these nuggets of wisdom show us how to deal with our lives in a way to where we can, as best as we can, make good judgment when it comes to friends. You see? So there's again a friend, which is a companion. And a companion is somebody that you walk together with. A companion. See, there is a companion at the table, but they will not continue in the time of your affliction. But in thy prosperity, they will be as thyself. But when you up, and you got that friend with you, they will be as yourself. They'll take it upon themselves to go out there and jump in your car and move it if it needs to be moved. They'll walk right through your door without knocking. You see, in your time of prosperity, they'll be even as yourself. The people that you rule over, they'll rule over them too. However you treat people, that's how they're going to treat them. That in the time of your prosperity, they will be even as yourself to all of the people that are around you. Whatever is on you, it will be on them. because they your friend, and you have given them the same rights. Oh, that's my boy. Oh, yeah, he good. Oh, that's cool, man. You do that. If you know what, you can best believe if he said it, yeah, I said it. You give him, he will be just like you in your time of prosperity. It says, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and he will be bold over your servants. You got servants, whatever it is that you do, you running a business, you operating a business, you got employees up under you, your servants. Hey, your friend, he ain't got nothing to do with the business, but he your friend. He don't treat your servants just like you treat them in the time of your prosperity. He said, but if you be brought low, he will be against you, and he will hide himself from your face. If you be brought low, that same joker that was running around here, even as yourself, trying to acquire everything that you got and using everything that you got like you use it, he said, but if you be brought low, if you be brought low, if you should crack like glass and go to the penitentiary because you ain't no longer standing tall, that joker that was out there being as bold over the people as you was, he said, in your time, if you be brought low, he shall be against you. Man, I told you, man. And he was a fool. He was a fool. He was a fool for ever allowing you to come into his life. He said, but if you be brought low, he shall be against you. Yep. And then he will hide himself from your face. The joker that was around you every day, every single day, the first person that was on the other end of your phone and the last person that was on the end of your phone when you hung or before you went to sleep, that joker, you won't even be able to find him. You'll call everybody, man. Hey, girl, I seen him down here. Yeah, I seen him. He ain't answers his phone. I can't get a hold to him, girl. I don't know where she at. That one that was that close to you. If you be brought low, they shall hide themselves from you. Because they're not going to do you like you did them. And you was doing them like that because you was absent of the knowledge. You didn't have the wisdom of foresight to be able to see what was down in them. So you fall as a victim to these things. Friendship is important in this world. It is important in this world. And it has nothing to do with religion. We're talking about living according to wisdom as we live our life in this world, because you got to live your life in this world amongst your brothers and your sisters. And many times we get into these situations and we have fallen victim to them. For people that come into our life that call themselves friends and don't turn out to be that way. It's all in here. Yep. It says, verse 13, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. Now, when you can see an enemy, you know that somebody don't like you. You can separate yourself from them. But you are to take heed, and to take heed is to pay close attention to those people that you call your friends. You got to pay close attention to people that you call your friends so that you can be able to see whether they're the friend that will be a companion at the table but will not abide in the day of your affliction, whether they'll be a friend that will be turned into an enemy and then bring ill and reproach upon your name by slandering your name and putting your business out there in the streets. You got to be able to know whether they're going to be a friend that will abide with you in the time of your prosperity and be bold over all of your things and over all of your service, and that same friend will hide himself from your face. You got to know which one of these, because all of these people are classified as friends. And the word friend does not mean what we think. The word friend has different meanings because there are different people that fall up under the category as friends. And these are the ones that fall up under the category as friends. But it says, you know what? You better test those friends. You better prove those friends. And don't be quick to call nobody your friend. They must first be tested. They must first be proven. In order to show thyself as a friend, they first must show thyself as friendly. They have to be tested. And you got to start testing people that come into your life. Sisters, you got to start testing the men that come into your life that want to be your friend. It start off as a friendship, but they have an underlying motive. Some friends are there for their own self and for their own occasion, and they will not abide or continue with you when your circumstance or your situation change. You got to know the difference. This is what we're dealing with on a daily basis. And that's why I keep stressing this over and over and over and over and over again. That religious mindset has to be broken, because ain't no religion on nobody's part ever made the life of the individual better. Only God's wisdom can do that as we apply it to our life. But how can you apply something that you don't know? If it's anybody on this thread that have ever had somebody that classified themselves as a friend to become an enemy, put a 7 up in there. If it's anybody on this thread that have ever had somebody that classified themselves as a friend, they was in your house, they knew your business, they discovered your shameful way and went out and talked about you, put a 7 up there. If it's anybody on this that have ever had one that classified themselves as a friend to come into your life and abide with you during the time when you was up, but when you fell down and you needed some help, they were nowhere to be found. Good God Almighty, I know what I'm talking about. I have seen every last one of them come into my life. But I didn't know what I know now. If it's anybody out there that have ever had a friend, whether it was a husband or a wife that was a companion that walked with you, that ate at the same table, slept in the same bed, but during your time of affliction, they said, I can't do this, I can't handle this, we're going to have to put him in the nursing home. Oh no, his brothers and sisters going to have to come and take care of him. I got to get a divorce. I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. If it's anybody that have ever seen this thing happen to anybody, put a 7 up in here, that you know that the word of the Most High is true. So it says, separate yourself from your enemy and take heed of your friends. Pay close attention to anyone that classified themselves as a friend. Verse 14 says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. Now here's another one coming that is classified as a friend, but he classified, his friendship has a title on it. It says a faithful friend. Nothing does countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. Let me read verse 14 again, and we're going to deal with this faithful friend, because we deal with all the unfaithful friends that will come into your life before. Now we're about to move into the friend that comes by way of the Most High's wisdom. It says a faithful friend is a strong defense. You'll know when you got a faithful friend because he'll jump out there and defend you. A faithful friend, no matter what you fall into, ain't gonna allow nobody to talk about you, nobody to run you down. A faithful friend gonna love you when you're up, gonna love you when you're down. He gonna defend you for anything. He'll defend you with his life. He'll defend you with his money. He'll defend you with his word. A faithful friend is a strong defense, because every now and then friend, we find our lives in a place to where we are unable to defend ourselves. Henceforth, God puts a faithful friend in the life that said, I know my brother is broken right now. I know he can't get up right now, but I'm a faithful friend, and I'm going to do for him what he can't do for himself. Watch me back down every eye that will look at him crazy and ask him, what you looking at? What you looking at? You ain't no better than nobody else. You better get out of here. A faithful friend will be there when he can't defend himself against enemies that's coming. Y'all better leave my boy alone. I'm telling you, if I find out that you laid one hand on him, the whole city is about to get torn. A faithful friend, a defending in his marriage when he's having trouble. He'll go to his wife and tell him, hey, you better pull yourself together. He have done too much for you over the years, and for you to be acting like he ain't done nothing, like he's some broke down, weak foot, pussy-footed, timid type of man, and you gonna act like this? I'm not faithful friend. Pull that woman, pull that wife back in shape. Make her understand that you vowed before God that you was gonna do this. He have looked after you for this whole life, and now you gonna do it. A faithful friend is a strong defense, because sometimes we get in places where we need people to defend us because we can't defend ourselves. A faithful friend is a strong defense. And if you ain't never known what it was like to have a faithful friend in your life, the reason why is because you're too quick to call people friends. You don't put the friend to a test. You don't prove him first. But if you start operating by these principles of wisdom, this is what you'll end up with: a faithful friend. It's a strong defense. And he that hath found such a one hath found the treasure. There's your silver and gold. When I ask the question, which would you rather have, $1 million or 1,000,000 friends? Many people say, give me $1 million. But I say, you give me 1,000,000 faithful friends, I can go to each faithful friend and get $10 from each one of them and have $10 million. Faithful friend is a strong defense. And whosoever finds such a one has found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. That means that there ain't no amount of money that can be put on a faithful friend. His excellency is invaluable. All the riches and the jewels that come from having a faithful friend is wonderful. I can be broke, and if I got a faithful friend, I ain't got to worry about money. I can be hungry, but if I got a faithful friend, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to have to eat. If I ain't got a car, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to ride when I got a faithful friend. When I got a faithful friend. His excellency is invaluable. And there is a such thing as a faithful friend. To those people that have been stepped on by allowing the wrong people to walk in and out of your life, you understand that there is a such thing as a faithful friend. So you don't build walls up around yourself because you've been vulnerable. The walls have to be down. You just have to apply the instruction when it comes to choosing the friend that you're going to allow to come into your life. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. I don't know if y'all heard that. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. Let me show you what that means. There was a scripture in the Pauline epistles in the KJV 66 that says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. You see, a faithful friend is the medicine of life, because those things that we don't have the power to overcome in this life that we are living, we are able to now put them in the hands of a faithful friend. And when that faithful friend that loves us, that has our well-being at heart, when that faithful friend carries our need and our desire and the thing that we can't overcome, when he carries that to God, God responds because he's a faithful friend. And he heals the individual. The individual's healing is coming through the faithful friend. And that's why the faithful friend is declared, the faithful friend is the medicine of life. Because I dare you. I dare a faithful friend. Somebody that want to see you blessed. Somebody that want to see your family blessed, your wife blessed, your children blessed. I dare you to see somebody that want to see your whole life morph into something great. I dare a faithful friend to start praying for you and watch the Most High start healing one area at a time. You don't even understand. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. Because not only do he defend you, but he'll pick you up with his kind words. He'll pick you up with his fair speech. He'll be there for you in the trenches. When you think you can't make it, you got a faithful friend standing there to help you. And that faithful friend becomes medicine of life. And medicine is for one thing, healing. Faithful friends help us to heal. All of us have been through some traumatic experiences in our lives. It was the faithful friends that God put in our lives that will hug us when we was mourning, when we lost a loved one. It was the faithful friend when we got the bad report said, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I got your back. I'm going to help you. It's your faithful friend that picks you up and becomes the medicine of life. When God starts a healing process through the faithful friend. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. See, that's the key. Everybody ain't going to find that faithful friend. But they that fear the Lord, they shall find the faithful friend, because the faithful friend comes from the Lord. They that fear the Lord is going to be able to spot all of these other friends that we just read about. They that fear the Lord. And they that fear the Lord are going to be able to spot the faithful friend when the Lord sends him to. But there ain't but one way to get him. You have to have fear of the Most High in your heart in order to have a faithful friend. So that's a challenge all by itself. Is the fear? Do you fear the Lord? Do you fear the Lord with your life? If you have a fear of the Lord, then you will understand how valuable it is for you to start trying to apply these things and these principles to your life. You hear what I said? I didn't say if you fear the Lord, do you fear the Lord? Do it say this? Okay, let's see. Let's do this here. Let's see. Let's see. Watch this. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. And whosoever fears the Lord shall find him. No, it said, whosoever go to church shall find him. No, whosoever in Israelite heritage shall find him. No, whosoever in Islam shall find him. No, whosoever in any other religious construct shall find him. No, it's not predicated on what you're a part of or the association that you're with. It's predicated on you as an individual. They that fear the Lord. Do you know how many people that are part of religious constructs that have no fear of the Lord, therefore they have no faithful friends? And that is why they have to continuously go into these places every week, breaking and beaten and broken down. Oh, brother pastor, can you pray for me? Oh, brother pastor. Oh, Moray, I don't know what I would do. Oh, bishop. Oh, apostle, can you help me out with this? You know why? You got no fear of the Lord. And if you got no fear of the Lord, then you don't have no faithful friend. And if you don't have no faithful friend, then you don't have no medicine. And if you don't have no medicine, then you can't get healed from your frailty. And see, that's how it is. Because when we speak of friendship, we just speak of friendship just like it is. So let me go over and run a recap on this friendship to bring us back to where we at. We now have dealt with all the other friends, and we're talking about what it is to have a faithful friend. So let me go back and let's go do the recap for the brothers and sisters that may not been on here. We was given instruction on how we gain or what kind of friends we allow to come into our life according to the wisdom of the Most High. And this is what he said. Those that have come in late on the video, I really hope that you will go back and listen to it from the beginning. There's some good stuff in here, but we're just going to be a recap and come back to where we was at. Now, when we start talking about friends, most of us have one mindset of what a friend is, but that's completely false. You see, friend don't mean what everybody thinks it means, because there are many people that are classified as friend in these particular things. And there's only one friend that God means that stands out above the rest. So let's show you the difference. If thou would get a friend, the first thing you must do is prove him, and don't be quick to credit him with friendship. For some friend is a friend for his own occasion, and he will not abide in the day of your trouble. There is a friend who, being turned into enmity and strife, will discover your shame or your secrets or your reproach and then bring you down. Again, there is a friend who is a companion at the table, but he will not continue with you in the day of your affliction. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and he will be bold over thy servants. And if you be brought low, he will be against thee, and he will hide himself from your face. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed, pay attention to your friends. For a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So you have all of these other things, all of these other friends that can come into your life. Some come for their own reason because they want something. Some come to discover your weakness so they can go back and destroy you like they did the Messiah. Some come because they desire to have what you have and then, but then they caps off with there is a friend that is called a faithful friend that becomes the medicine of life. And that faithful friend is now the one that the Most High starts using to heal us in areas that we have been powerless to heal ourselves in. So, and one of the key things is whosoever fear the Lord shall find this faithful friend. And many people don't have the fear of the Lord. When you start talking about the fear of the Lord, we're not talking about walking around being terrified to wake up and come out the house in the morning. You're talking about the fear of the Lord is dealing with the reverence and respect for the authority of the Most High as the eternal parent. The fear of the Lord causes you to understand how important it is for us to be walking by his instruction. So those that fear the Lord shall find a faithful friend, simply meaning those that will adhere to the instructions of the Most High shall find the faithful friend in their life. Now, I got Now, so I'm going to end the video with this because that's what we're dealing. We're dealing with the instruction, the wisdom, and the application of that wisdom in our everyday life. In our everyday life. And we keep aiming to make our brothers and sisters understand when we start using the scripture that this has nothing to do with nobody's religion. Nothing to do with nobody's religion. And so we're using things in the scripture that show you, hey, these are things that we go through on an everyday basis. And some of the things we fall victim to because we didn't know that this knowledge was in the books that they call the Bible. So verse 18 caps off by this. And this is what the Most High is saying to everybody that have been watching this video. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shall thy find wisdom till thy old age. And that is what we need to be able to exemplify what it means to live a righteous life in this world. We must gather wisdom from our youth on up. And then it says that it says, so then we shall find wisdom until we are old. So as long as we living, we should be constantly chasing after God's wisdom. And God's wisdom is simply dealing with the application of instruction as it relates to the situation that we find ourselves in when it comes to life that we're living. Applying those things, not just gleaning them, but applying them. If you apply these principles to your life will be more peaceful. And it will cause the people around you to have a more peaceful life as well. Because you won't let anybody into your life. You'll prove them. You'll test them. You'll be able to find out if they genuinely mean well. You'll be cautious about who you hook yourself up with in marriage. You'll be cautious about who you allow to come into your house and sit at your table. You'll be cautious about who you allow to sleep in the spare bedroom. You'll be cautious about all of those things. And when you're cautious about those things and you look close enough into a matter and you paying close attention to people that call themselves your friends, your life will be much better. It'll be a whole lot better, whole lot better. So all praise, all honor, all glory. Shouts out to all the brothers and sisters. Shouts out to my big cousin Kurt Davis that I just seen chime in. Shouts out to all the brothers and sisters out there in social media land. Everybody that's trying to live their life in a way that brings some goodness into your life. And if you got a wife, you want some goodness. If you got a husband, you want some goodness. If you got children, you want some goodness in your children's life. So anybody that's trying to do that, let's take heed of these instructions, these simplistic principles of wisdom, and go out into the world strategically, on purpose, and say, I'm practicing. You don't do nothing but pick one thing out of the video and say, I'm practicing this. I'm practicing this all day. I'm going to be conscious of it all week. I'm practicing it. And that's how we get where we're supposed to go. Peace and blessings be upon all of you.